There are two kinds of fandom knitwear. There is, I'm attending a convention and I would like to be perceived from space. And then there is the kind I love, which is, this is a really good sweater, and only the people who know will clock it. The ones who make eye contact and go, wait, is that? I pulled together a list of patterns inspired by books, films, and games, and I tried to keep it all within the lane of wearable, elevated, and not too overly costumey. Some are obvious, some are more subtle, and I'll tell you which is which so that you can go ahead and pick your level of public nerdiness. Hi, my name is Taylor, and today we are talking about subtle fandom knits that still look cool in real life. And stick around to the end because I have a bonus pattern that I've recently discovered and I absolutely must cast this on. When it comes to story-based entertainment, I am a books person first, but that is very almost evenly balanced with video games, especially when the story is strong and the world building is rich, and then that's followed up by film. So when it comes to my fandom favorites, they usually revolve around books and games. So this video exists because sometimes, every once in a while, knitting and story-based entertainment collide in a way that feels genuinely cool, not costumey, and not in a way that makes you feel like you're wearing merch. It's that sweet spot where it looks first like just really great knitwear, and then it's also a reference, a quiet little nod, a secret fandom handshake. I'm going to tag each pattern as one of three things: a subtle nod, people who know will know, and a proud billboard. And we're starting with books and film first because honestly, this section kind of slaps. Okay, first up, Hogwarts Dueling Club mitts. These are fingerless mitts inspired by Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. This is one of my favorite kinds of references because it's not a logo, it's not a house crest, it's not quote unquote merch. It's a set piece. In the movie, the dueling club scene takes place in the Great Hall with Lockhart and Snape presiding. And it's also where Harry learns that he can speak Parseltongue. And the professors are using this long table as a stage, and there's this beautiful runner that shows all of the phases of the moon. That runner and that motif is the motif that you see here on these mitts. It's so tasteful, I could cry. They're knit back and forth in garter stitch from the bottom up. There's gentle shaping at the inside edge so that the fit is forgiving, and the edges are mattress stitched together with a thumb opening. The moon motif is done with pre-strung beads moving down the length of the arm. Something to keep in mind here, this requires 1556 Mayuki 8/0 beads. I believe that's how you would refer to that, which could either be a fun evening of beading or an FBI level task. It's really based on your preference. The tag for this one is people who know will know. And also, this is just really beautiful. Next is the Archer's poncho, which is a piece inspired by the films that are based on the book series by Suzanne Collins. I'm not a huge Hunger Games fan, but you really have to appreciate this one for its overall aesthetic and vibe. It's dramatic, it's structured, it's basically wearable armor, but make it cozy. And the maker's story on this one is incredible because the designer watched the films and spent countless hours trying to replicate the cowl that Katniss is wearing in the films, particularly in the opening scenes. The original costume was apparently woven, but this is a really beautiful knitted imitation. Technique-wise, this is a full mixed media moment. It uses finger knitting, needle knitting, and crochet, and it's worked with double strands throughout the entire thing, which I suppose is why it has this really sturdy structural look about it. It also uses the herringbone stitch, which is also called the horizontal herringbone stitch, which lends itself to a really dense, almost woven looking fabric. The tag for this one, people who know will know. Okay, this next one is amazing. Show-stopping even. This is the You Shall Not Pass shawl, inspired by The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring. This shawl is based on the Balrog scene in the mines of Moria. On the bridge of Khazad-dûm, Durin's Bane, fire and shadow, blazing wings, all of it. Gandalf bellows, "You shall not pass!" And then we get the emotional gut punch of, "Fly, you fools." This shawl is inspired by those fiery wings. And even if you don't know any of that, it still reads like a modern dramatic shawl. Almost avant-garde with its wild flame-tipped edging, almost like the fabric itself is moving. The tag for this is people who know will know, but even if you don't, it's still stunning. Next is the Winterfell cowl inspired by Game of Thrones. Winter is coming, and in order to prepare, we have developed a cowl to keep your neck warm as you journey to the other side of the wall. When the winds howl and the snow snow falls 100 feet deep, you'll be the fairest of Starks. Now, that is the kind of dramatic copy I respect. This is a great example of a fandom pattern that doesn't rely on literal logos. It's vibe-based, Stark-based, and cold-based. It's simple garter stitch based lace, and it's worked with a worsted weight yarn. Gauge is not entirely important here, and you can easily adjust the size by knitting more or fewer repeats. There's also a newer version available, it mentions, that fixes some issues that they had with charts, so keep an eye out for that one. I also like that it mentions that you can make 2 cowls from one of the skeins of yarn that's recommended for this. You can make one for yourself and one for your direwolf companion. The tag for this one is also people who know will know. Next are the Tardis socks inspired by Doctor Who. Now, I'm not a huge watcher of Doctor Who, but I have seen the first season with David Tennant, and I liked it. And socks are really the ultimate low-risk fandom knit, and you can usually go a little louder because it mostly resides within boots or within your own home. And these are instantly recognizable with the TARDIS blue, the window detailing, and the police box vibe. This is definitely a people who know will know. And I think also too, people who maybe don't think they know will have some kind of sneaking suspicion that they've seen it somewhere. Okay. Star Wars sweater. Not only is this Star Wars, which I'm a big fan of, but it also is seamless and pretty much classy. It looks like a well-designed yoke sweater first, and then you realize what you're looking at. The references are integrated into the design instead of plastered on. This is the kind of fandom knit you can wear as a real sweater, not a theme sweater. I love this one. I feel like if I were to knit this for anybody in this household, it would be for my husband, and I think he would really get a kick out of wearing this. I'm not saying I'm going to, but I think he would really love this. It's just right down his alley. He's a huge Star Wars nerd, fan. I am as well, not as much as him. I feel like he would really appreciate this sweater. This is definitely a people who know will know. I can't imagine who wouldn't. I don't know, I'm sure there are people out there. Okay, now let's talk games, and I'm talking video games in particular here. First up is Saga's sweater, inspired by one of my all-time favorite games, Alan Wake 2. The reference here is that stag motif. If you've played Alan Wake 2, you already know why that hits. It's one of those symbols that just lives in your brain. And what I love is that even if you have never touched the game, it still reads like a genuinely beautiful winter sweater. Cozy, classic, wearable. And this is free, and there's an official Saga sweater knitter's guide that was put out by the developers of the game. This guide gives you an overview of the front, the back, the whole chart, the sizing, everything that you would need to make this sweater to spec, just like Saga's sweater in the game. I mean, honestly, for those of you that are fans of Alan Wake 2 and you're looking for a really great holiday sweater or the missing piece to your cosplay, this is definitely it. Some styling thoughts: jeans, boots, neutral coat, unless you work for the FBI, in which case a blue windbreaker. Obviously. The tag for this one is people who know will know. Next is the Witcher spell shawl, inspired by both the Witcher video games as well as the Witcher book series by Andrzej Sapkowski. In the game, Geralt of Rivia has particular spell gestures that he works with his hands and arms to cast spells of a variety of different ways and kinds and whatnot. And those gestures are noted as symbols. This shawl is inspired by the symbols that represent each of those spell gestures. It reads graphic and intentional, even if you don't know the reference. Quick note though, this one is crochet. I probably should have led with that, I know, but it's just too good to pass up because it's fantastic and it's a fun reference to such a beloved book series and video game franchise. The tag for this one is definitely people who know will know. And even the people who would definitely know might even have to look a little closer to really get it. Continuing on with a Witcher influence, this is the wolf shawl, inspired by Geralt of Rivia and the School of the Wolf from the Witcher books and the video game series. This one is for knitters who want something quietly rugged and classic. It's built with only knit stitches and you alternate between two sections. One uses 2 colors with a slip stitch row and the other is an easy lace pattern. Gauge is not crucial, so this is a nice exhale moment. I'm tagging this one also as people who know will know. I can't escape the Witcher world, and so we're going to stay here one more time with Lilac and Gooseberry's shawl. This shawl is inspired by Yennefer of Vengerberg from the Witcher books and the games. This one is character driven. Yennefer is known for violet eyes and that lilac and gooseberry scent. This is a pattern where the yarn choice does half the storytelling. You can go vibrant and witchy, or you can go black and white and let the texture do the talking. Also, it's just a very wearable spring shawl shape. Again, the tag here is people who know will know. The next is the Champion's Cowl, which is inspired by The Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild. This cowl is designed to evoke the champion's tunic, but it still reads like a clean classic cowl you could wear forever. It's iconic to fans, but also just looks like a good graphic knit to everyone else. This one is definitely a people who know will know, but they don't have to know to really appreciate it. Okay, this next one isn't really a knitting pattern as much as it's just kind of a fun little nod to a game I've recently fallen in love with. And this is the Skyrim chart. What you're seeing here is the symbol for the land of Skyrim, particularly for the video games in general. If the video game had a logo, it would be this one. In fact, I have a decal just like this on the back of our car. Because that's how nerdy we are at this point. This is a black and white knitting chart that allows you to create this motif on anything that you happen to be knitting. This is a building block. It's the dragon symbol chart, and you can drop it into a hat, mittens, a cowl, a bag, a pillow. If you like customizing, this is where it's at. One little motif like this can turn a totally classic knit into something truly special, or even your own secret reference. Just a subtle nod. So if you are an older millennial like myself, you may remember, or maybe even the generation before us, you may remember back in grade school and elementary school playing the beloved game Oregon Trail. For those of you that may not be familiar, there's actually a new version of this game that you can get on various different consoles and on PC, and it's fantastic. We play it as a family and I love it. But these are the Oregon Trail socks. Socks are a perfect canvas for private fandom. You can be niche, you can be funny, and only your household is really going to see it. And like I said, this one's especially fun for us here because we've just recently started playing the newer version of this game. We play it on our PS5 with the boys, and it's an absolute delight. And they learn a thing or two about American history in the process. Also, knitting socks inspired by the Oregon Trail just feels historically correct. It just does. I'm tagging this one people who know will know. All right, these next ones are more miscellaneous fandom, niche kind of nods and references that I'm going to share here. And we're going to lead with the Lego Man mitts, obviously inspired by Lego minifigures, like this one, like this one. You can give yourself little Lego minifigure hands, just like that lady. She's supposed to be me. My son put her together for me. And that little wand she has is actually a knitting needle, and she's holding a ball of yarn. These are so fun, and Lego is one of those cross-generational things that is universally charming. This is big gift knit energy. I can't help it. I love this. I needed to include it. I don't know who would actually wear these for functional reasons, but I give mad props to anybody that would, but I could absolutely see kids wearing these. My son he would absolutely wear these. This is definitely a proud billboard moment for sure. Next is the book snake. I love this one as a great way to track your reading progress and the various different books that you're reading. This is the intersection of knitting and reading with one goal in mind: fun. It's designed as a reading tracker, so you add one stripe per book read over the course of a year. But you can also just make it because it's charming and you want a long striped snake in your house. No judgment, I completely support you. Gauge is not critical, the yarn can be any worsted weight, and the length is completely up to you. This is bookish, it's playful, it's low pressure. And it's a subtle nod. Nobody's going to know, honestly, that this is a reading tracker unless you tell them, so it's ultimately just a really adorable striped snake. This next one has me itching to cast on like nobody's business. This is the library card vest. I'm obsessed with this, and I don't talk about vests a lot here on the channel. It's definitely a garment that I really would like to explore more, so why not talk about it here in such an amazing context. This vest is knitted top down in stockinette with horizontal and vertical stripes in contrast colors, and then the lettering is embroidered using duplicate stitch at the end. It's clean, it's graphic, it looks intentional. I mean, it looks like a piece that you could buy, but it's also an extremely specific little wink to actual library cards. This is one of those patterns where the reference is the design, and it's just that perfect level of nerdiness, and I say that with love in my heart, that you want in little references like this. People who know will know. The next one is the Read This hat, inspired by reading culture. Not tied to a franchise, but it signals your interests immediately. It's a conversation starter. Also, hats are the best low commitment knits, and just to take a moment for a shameless plug, over on the Patreon, we're running a knit along over there called the Wool Needles Hands Year of Hats Knit Along 2026, and we're knitting hats all year. We already have the lineup listed. Head over there, see if that lineup is for you. Everybody can check out out the lineup and decide if they'd like to join. But if you like knitting hats and you want to knit hats along with us, head over and see if it's for you. But back to the Read This hat. This is a quick project, high payoff, easy to gift, and you can make it as subtle or as bold as you want based on color, based on context. So I guess the tag here is whatever it needs to be based on how subtle or bold you make this. But I think it's a lot of fun. Okay, as promised, bonus pattern time. This one is Whiterun by Melody Hoffman, inspired by the video game Skyrim. And I recently discovered it and immediately went, oh no, I have to knit this at some point in my life. Whiterun looks like a classic, handsome Nordic sweater. If you don't know Skyrim, you just think it's a beautiful winter knit. But if you do know Skyrim, it feels like wearing a location. Place-based, atmosphere-based, quietly iconic. If you want to see the yarn I'm using, I'm doing a little unboxing as the after show for this episode over on Patreon because I already picked the yarn and I'm incredibly excited. Okay, now I want to know from you, those of you out there that have ever knit anything fandom based, what is your favorite fandom knit and why? Link to the pattern, tell us what it is, whatever you want to do, but share it down below in the comments. Or are there any that you've saved but never dared to start? I'd like to know about those too. Also, what is like your fandom lane? Are you books? Are you video games? Are you film? And if you're books, by the way, I'll just plug Good Books Lately is a great channel for book lovers out there. My husband and I, we host it. Check it out. I'll link it down below. I would love to do a part 2 of this if we can build enough traction down there and I can discover a lot of new fandom knits. So please, down below, whether it's crochet or knit, it doesn't matter. Just let us know down below in the comments. This was fun. All right, that's it for me. Thank you guys for hanging out with me today. Go forth, knit something subtle or profound, but whatever it is, happy knitting, happy making. I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye.